My mission is to show you how Giraffe can be used as a differentiator for your office, creating diagrams like this very quickly, very efficiently. Now, this is not quite an Illustrator level diagram. You'll see there's some imperfections there with the way that this is rendered, and it's not exactly pixel perfect, but it is 3D and it is doing the areas. So this is a really nice diagram. You can see I've got some people down there. And I'm going to show you how to build this from scratch, from zero, assuming no knowledge of Giraffe. So we click on the new project button and let's open a blank template. And I'll do the same site over here. Now, the first thing you'll see is all these trees. So if you open the base map layers, we can turn those off. And that's better. And whilst we're here, let's turn off the POI layers. So that's just like ArchiCAD or Rhino or SketchUp. They all have layers. Giraffe has layers as well. The next thing we're going to do is draw a rectangle. So you can use hotkeys in Giraffe. You can type space and type in draw rectangle. There's the R hotkey. Or you can come up here to the basic shapes and click on the rectangle and start drawing. So you click somewhere on the map and you can type in a number. So let's say it's a 40 meter by 30 meter rectangle. And you'll see we get a gray rectangle, which I can select and deselect, just left clicking. And you can see it's got its areas. Now we can slice this rectangle. There you go. Got all these options here. So I'm going to click the split tool and I'm just going to draw like a diagrammatic split, something like that. And then I'm going to grab these handles, these extrude handles, and I'm going to extrude 3 meters that way and 3 meters that way. So I have a nice 6 meter floor plan. And now I'm going to apply some usage to this rectangle. So over here are all my usages in the project. And these relate to urban typologies. The word usage could be typology or program. So I'm going to type in retail. And you can see there, I've got some retail. Now, you can see in the view modes, I'm already in the thick outline mode. You can be in like the no levels mode, the no lines at all mode, the normal mode, and the thick outline mode. I prefer working in this normal mode. And then when we go to diagram, we'll go to the thick outline mode. Now, I'm going to edit this, just the colors of these. I'm going to click on the usage editor. So first, let me just back up a second. First, I selected the usage retail. Then I clicked on the usage editor and it takes me directly to the retail usage. As you can see, that blue is that blue. And I'm going to make it like a much fainter blue. Click save and my retail updates. All right, so I've drawn a rectangle. I've split it. I've done it, dimensionally correctly. And if I hold my S key down to snap, you'll see that I've still got my 40 meter dimension. And if I do the same thing again, and noticing there's that Shift D shortcut, I can do this. And if I click on these, you can see all the properties. In Giraffe, all the properties are always on the left. And there's a size property over there. And so I can just make those labels a little bit smaller. I can put, so these dimension strings, I can put these on a different layer, like an annotations layer. Why don't we do that? I can select them, layer, new layer, and create. I'll just turn that off for now. So you just click the eyes and off it goes. I'm right clicking to orbit. And now let's put what should we put? Commercial on top. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool and hold S. Sorry, and you can see I've got the wrong layer selected there. So something that is to be changed in Giraffe, so you can draw an invisible layer. Now I'm going to use the commercial use, and there it is. Now you can see this rectangle will stack up on top of Giraffe, top of other rectangles in Giraffe. And the one that goes on top is the one that has the highest stack order. We didn't know what else to call that except stack order. It's the order in which it stacks. So if I make that stack order -3, it'll go underneath. But if I make it 10 or positive 3, it'll go on top. So I'm going to hit space and I'm going to look for base point move. I'm going to hold snap. I'm going to snap that guy back in where I want it. I'm going to click on him. I'm going to add a bunch of levels. And now to change the color, can you remember what I did? Clicked on the usage editor. And I'm going to make this much lighter. And I may actually change my usage type, sort of base tone here, to more of a red. Just so that it's distinct from this blue. And I want it really light, not quite FFFFF, which is full light. There we go. All right. And these graphics to your taste. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, paste. I'm going to make this one stack order 2. I'm going to make this levels 1. And now I'm going to add a few properties. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type 2, 2, 2, 2. So I've offset it 2 meters. It needs to come back to 1. You can see that's my offset level over there. Now I can keep that as a commercial level, or I could convert it to a new level, maybe a plant typology or a core typology. But I'm actually leave it like that. So there's my core. Now I'm going to copy this guy up. I'm going to give him a stack order of 5. And I'll copy this guy, paste him, give him a stack order of 7. I'm going to add some levels here. Now I'm going to copy, paste, give him a stack order of 9. And I'm actually going to drop the number of levels down to 4 because now we're at the step of my building. So I'm stepping like that. All right, now copy and paste again. Stack order up. Pull it back. All right, so there's actually the bones of my building. And now we're just going to refine. So maybe this is designed. So I'm going to pull in. And I'm doing this by feel. Like, let's say I need to pull this in exactly 6 meters. There's a setback. I can do that. So then I'll pull this in 6 meters as well. Not looking too bad. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to round these parts of the building. So what I do is I select them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 features selected. And I'm going to round the corners. And the way we do that in Giraffe is we add a property. And that property is called the corner type. Update that and I get a corner radius and a corner type. I'm going to give that 4 meter radius. That seems too much. Let's do a 2 meter radius. And I could chamfer it like that, kind of 80s, or I could fillet it. And that makes it beautiful and round. All right. And now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to override the color. So you can see these are both commercial, which means they're inheriting the color from the commercial usage. But if we want to override the object, we grab the color property, add the property, and we make it something darker. So I don't want it completely dark, like that. Okay, so there's my buildings. And let's say I am happy with that. I'll show you one more trick. I'm going to round these corners with my bottom sort of active street frontage, sort of street level. Remember, we add a property. We look for corner. Then we set this to 2. Now that's going to round all of the corners. If I want to keep this corner sharp, what I do is I click on a point to create a node, and I bring that node close, and that fails or that overrides the round. In this instance, I'm going to click that node again because it's actually quite a nice round. This is actually also quite a nice round. So maybe I want to keep this one over here sharp. Now, it's not the world's perfect solution because that line is now not completely straight, but it's not a terrible solution either. All right. And let's say I want to direct this towards the ocean views. And look, notice how amazing this is in Giraffe. We have not imported context at all. We're using the context as is. There's the ocean. There it is. If we zoom out, you can see, as far as you want to. You can scroll all the way to America. I'm going to hold Shift F to focus on the selected. I'm just going to pull this guy back like that and pull this guy back like that. And that's going to add a bit of interest to my building. If I hit the T key, I'm toggling between 2D and 3D. And I can use the S key there to snap that. There we go. Right, and now if I click the thick line, you can see the basics of our diagram are in fact done. I think all I want to do is put a line here to show this podium height, this podium datum, and a line here to show these views rather. I'm going to get a dashed arrow. I'm going to draw it like this. And now I'm going to add a base height. In fact, it's already got a base height. I think the base height, maybe it's going to be about 90 meters. There we go. A bit more. And then I'm going to move it to where I want it, somewhere like this. And I can rotate it, or edit it, or change it. But I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to draw another line, and I'll actually use the same diagrammatic language. Of course, this is completely up to you. You can change the colors. And I'm going to set the base height to 38. And I'm just trying to demonstrate here. You can see it's intersected with that geometry. So if we come up, there we go. And that is to say there is a street wall over here, and that the audience should be reading our podium and this podium, or this average podium, as one. And we could probably finish the diagram with the last line, and that's to show this through sat length. And maybe we do that in a green color. And now we can actually design. Let's pull this back ever so slightly. And open this up, splay this even more to the park. And that is a great diagram. You can see this green is not reading as well as I want. Let's just change it. 15 minutes in, we've got the diagrams from the front, back, and unbelievable, if we add a site boundary, we also have all of the areas, the FSR, the facade area, the maximum height, and a whole bunch of additional information accidentally. I'm going to lower those levels by 1 each. That's a bit more proportional to what I was going for. And that's done. So hopefully you've enjoyed that tutorial. I'm not even going to save this project, but that is how you create quite a nice visual effect with Giraffe, and something you can use in your reports and in presentations with your clients to build their trust and to excel your designs.